Yo, I wish y'all could have been there, but it was too much going on. Oh my God, the culture, I can't stand it, I don't know what's going on, and if you don't do something about those guys. When she left HR, she left, yeah. You know what? I think me and the guys can work it out. I think me and the guys can fix it ourselves.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
What happened?
Well, what was it?
It was her suggestions. I was like, you know what? On second thought, I'm gonna save them.
What's good, Elevators? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. There was a lot to uncover in yesterday's Patreon episode. I had to watch it twice to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Now, I'm going to be honest. I went crazy on Melyssa on my Patreon, so I'm going to make sure I take the opposite side on my YouTube channel because I don't want to have that much bias towards women in general, and I've been going crazy on Melyssa for the mistakes she's made. But we're not going to act like everyone up there isn't making mistakes. I found it funny that Ice was calling everybody to the floor or to the table when it came to speaking about Imani's personal dealings and how he didn't want to speak on it and they forced it out of him. Yet Ice was the first one to make any type of notation about this, especially in a joking manner. And then everybody else chimed in as a direct result of it. And Ice does that often. Joe. I hope you know you made a very big mistake, sir, bringing up what Melyssa did in the HR meeting, how it went, and the results from that. I hope you know you made a big mistake. Of course, you're the freaking owner. Of course, you control the JBN. But when it comes to that HR shit, especially dealing with women, and they said they're going to save it for later, I would be absolutely nervous. You already know how many times I've said that they're going to press charge, or not they, but Melyssa's building up for a case to press charges. That just cemented it towards me, or for me. The HR lady, who was a black lady on top of that, told her very specifically the things that she could do, and she decided not to. She opted out. I'ma save it for later. You made a big mistake, Joe. Parks, you gotta pay attention. Because when they were calling for Melyssa to apologize, or for Joe to apologize to Melyssa, he said that he said it, and they wanted him to repeat it because Imani was like, I didn't hear you. Parks was like, it's recorded. Parks letting it know, once again, I do not fuck with Melyssa. But y'all, this dogpiling, of course, is persistent with y'all, and it happens so much, we make it seem like it's just normalcy, like it's just supposed to happen. And then we get frustrated at Melyssa for not responding in the way that we want her to. Well, why would she? How could she? If I'm in a room with 7 females and they are pestering me for how I act, for how I speak, for how I divulge little information about myself, how am I supposed to react to this? Am I just supposed to say everything's okay? Am I just supposed to be honky-dory? But that's what we anticipate and expect from Melyssa, and it's just not going to happen. And then when she handles it adversely, we'll call her a Karen, a white woman. We'll do everything in our power to denigrate her. Flip. I remember when this happened 8 months ago, sir. I remember this. You were confused then, and it seems like you're confused now because you keep saying, Melyssa's my girl, that's my girl. No one will go to the HR office and say you need anger management classes or attempt to get you fired if they were really your partner like that. And you keep telling us that Melyssa's the reason that you act the way you act towards her because she's the one telling you to do so. Okay, sir, at what point are you going to be focused on yourself on the JBP because you're already trying to figure out what you need to do next on the JBP, not your own Flip the Network ventures, because I keep supporting you on that because you're growing. But you're losing yourself on the JBP outside of speaking on Melyssa. So this homie court and the talk they had leading up to the homie court was very, very telling. But as far as the overall episode is concerned, y'all know how I feel about interviews. Y'all know I feel like they've been doing too much. I just gave what I feel that they should do going forward towards interviews. But this was actually a good interview. Now, I do have some thoughts. I do have some thoughts on Jermaine Dupri and other wealthy, I guess, black men in the entertainment industry. But I'll address that on Elevated Thought, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Patreon. Break down more of what they're actually talking about as opposed to just talking about them. That way we can get our own discussions off. But the interview was good. The overall episode was good because Parks was alluding to it prior to the homie court. We've had a really good day today. But how much longer are the guys going to be able to get their shit off on Melyssa? They don't gang up on each other when it comes to these topics, but every time Melyssa's name is brought up, they be ready to go in on it. And Ish was pissed the whole time they were speaking about this. And notice how Ish left. Notice how Ish left. As soon as they started talking about the Malcolm Jamal Warner shit, as soon as they started talking about homie court with Melyssa and Imani, Ish was out of there. He can't take any more of this bullshit. But I have to salute him for not contributing to more of it. And if you didn't notice, whenever Joe was gone, Ish and Melyssa have great chemistry. They're starting to talk to each other more and more and more again. Melyssa's starting to look for Ish's response to things again. So we got to pay attention to that relationship. Ish was not chiming in on the Melyssa dog pile, and he told Flip to keep his name out of it. I don't have that same type of animosity and relationship with Melyssa that you do. So clearly, because this happened in October of last year, November of last year, whenever it initiated, and they're still speaking on it in this manner to where everybody has to leave, clearly there's some things still going on here that haven't been resolved. Now, we could spit and yell until we're purple in the face about the things that Melyssa's doing wrong, but why does she feel the need to continue to do these things? Why? What's going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to? Because something is happening behind the scenes. And Joe was trying to laugh it off because he wanted to put it in the ethos. He wanted to put it in the stratosphere that shit is not safe here when y'all are addressing Melyssa. He wanted to let that be known. And it still hit everyone as if it just happened last week. So that's something that we got to be paying attention to. I'm not calling for anybody to get suspended. I'm not calling for anybody to get fired because thankfully, Imani and Mark have gotten through their altercation. And of course it's not that. And the reason, like I said yesterday or the day before, the reason I put so much oomph on it is because I didn't realize that what he threw was like a play object. I thought it was a CD case, and it looked like he threw it directly at his throat. Now that I know it had the same weight as a water bottle, and then Imani just posted that Mark did the same thing to Flip, there's nothing for me to speak about. I don't want Imani to apologize. I'm happy Imani defended himself. It just seemed kind of strange, but the object changes everything for me. So I'm not going to continue to call for people to get fired and suspended, but things are clearly happening behind the scenes. We're not just instigating this shit. And I know Danny's close to some shit because they're back to bleeping his name out. They don't want to give him credit. And Melyssa said that he had the room bugged. What does that mean? Oh, it means that they're connecting on a lot of the assumptions and assertions that they're making about the pod. That's scary. That's very, very scary. But overall, it was a good episode. I'm glad they had this talk because it gave us something to talk about. And once again, I have a couple of thoughts on Jermaine Dupri, and it comes with security, self-esteem, and financial talk. So if you're trying to hear what I had to say about that, make sure you chime into the Patreon. It'll be up about 2 or 3 today. I appreciate all the support y'all been showing your boy. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the page if you have it. If you have, you already know how we rock it. You already know what it is with us, man. We're not going nowhere. We're just going to up the product. We're going to up it. I'll see y'all a little later, though. Peace.